What's going on, football fans? Welcome back to the channel. If you've been following college football's coaching carousel this offseason, you know it's been absolutely wild. But nothing, and I mean nothing, compares to the absolute circus happening at Penn State right now. We're talking about one of the most brutal coaching searches in modern college football history. And somehow, after all this chaos, Penn State might actually stumble into landing the best coach available. I'm talking about Iowa State's Matt Campbell. Let's break down this entire mess because honestly, you can't make this stuff up. So here's where this story gets crazy. Penn State Athletic Director Pat Kraft made the decision to fire James Franklin. Now, before you say, okay, teams fire coaches all the time, let me give you the context that makes this absolutely mind-blowing. James Franklin wasn't some struggling coach trying to save his job. This man averaged 10 wins per season at Penn State. 10 wins. That's the kind of consistency most programs would kill for. But it gets even more insane. Kraft didn't just fire Franklin at the end of a disappointing season. No, he pulled the trigger just 6 games into this season. 6 games! And this was right after Franklin had Penn State within one play, literally one single play, of advancing to last year's college football playoff national championship game. Think about that for a second. One play away from potentially competing for a national title, and less than a year later, you're fired halfway through the next season. That's the kind of decision that makes you wonder what on earth is happening behind closed doors in State College. Now, after firing Franklin in what might go down as the most controversial coaching decision in recent memory, Pat Kraft embarked on what can only be described as a painful 54-day coaching search. And folks, painful might be putting it lightly. Here's where Penn State really started making mistakes that are going to be studied in athletic department meetings for years to come. They didn't just miss on their top targets. They actually drove up the entire coaching market in the process. Let's run through the list of coaches Penn State apparently went after. First up, Curt Cignetti from Indiana. Now, anyone who's been paying attention knows Cignetti has Indiana playing at an elite level right now. They're a legitimate national championship contender. Did Penn State really think he was going to walk away from that situation? Of course not, but they tried anyway. Then there's Matt Rhule at Nebraska. Here's the thing, Rhule and Kraft are actually best friends. Like, legitimately close, and even he said no. Rhule is building something special at Nebraska with 5-star quarterback Dylan Rhule. There's no way he's looking that kid in the face and telling him, sorry, I'm out. Penn State also pursued Clark Lea at Vanderbilt, who's probably going to get a lifetime contract there one day if he keeps building the program, and Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri, who's consistently winning 9 or 10 games every season in the toughest conference in college football, the SEC. Every single one of these coaches said no. And because Penn State kept pushing, these schools had to open up their checkbooks and pay these coaches even more money to keep them from leaving. Penn State essentially helped raise everyone else's coaching salaries without landing anyone themselves. That's not coaching search 101. That's not even reading the room. That's just, I don't even know what to call it. But here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. After striking out repeatedly, Penn State has apparently zeroed in on Matt Campbell from Iowa State. And honestly, this might be the best hire of the entire coaching carousel if it happens. Matt Campbell is 46 years old and has spent a full decade at Iowa State. Now that might not sound impressive until you realize who's tried to hire him away during that time. USC wanted him. Notre Dame came calling. Multiple NFL teams, the Bears, Jets, Browns, and Lions, all tried to bring him to the pros. And Campbell said no to all of them. Every single one. Why? Because Campbell is old school in the best possible way. He actually cares about the things college sports should be about. Developing players as people, not just athletes. The value of a quality education, the actual college experience, personal growth, and character building. At Iowa State, he's been able to build something special in relative peace, away from the chaos and unrealistic expectations that come with coaching at the blue blood programs. He's built a culture based on his principles, and it's worked incredibly well. But here's the thing. Iowa State is struggling financially. The athletic department has a $147 million funding gap projected through 2031. That's not a small problem, that's a crisis. Iowa State simply can't compete with the big boys when it comes to NIL money, which is now the lifeblood of college football recruiting. They can't generate the revenue needed to attract elite talent through private NIL deals. So what has Campbell been doing? He's been working absolute magic with less talent. Year after year, he's taking lower-tier high school recruits and second-level transfer portal guys and coaching them up to compete with teams that have way more talent on paper. Check this out. Iowa State just finished National Signing Day with the 50th ranked recruiting class according to 247 Sports. 50th! They landed 1 4-star recruit and 21 3-star recruits. Not a single one of those 22 players is nationally ranked. And yet Campbell consistently has Iowa State competing in the Big 12. That's incredible coaching, folks. For years, other coaches around the country have wondered, what could Matt Campbell do with a blue blood budget? What could he accomplish if he had access to elite recruits and the kind of NIL money that schools like Penn State can throw around? Penn State went all in this past offseason with some huge transfer portal additions, showing they're committed to spending whatever it takes to win. Imagine what Campbell could do with those resources. So here we are. Penn State somehow botched one of the simplest processes in college athletics, firing and hiring a coach so badly that it's going to be remembered for decades. They fired a 10-win coach midseason. They struck out on every major target. They drove up the coaching market for everyone else. And now they're on the verge of potentially landing Matt Campbell, who might actually be the best coach available this entire cycle. If this happens, Penn State will have stumbled backward into an incredible hire despite doing almost everything wrong along the way. The big question is, will Pat Kraft actually close this deal, or will he somehow find a way to mess this up too? One thing's for sure. College football fans everywhere are watching this situation closely because it's been one of the wildest coaching searches we've ever seen. What do you think? Would Matt Campbell be the right hire for Penn State? And can you believe how badly this entire process has been handled? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button and subscribe for more college football content. I'll catch you in the next one.